Sorry, guys. Some nutcase who comes out there decides that he's got some type of grievance with society and he wants to blow away everyone. The heated debate over guns once again on the hot stove on Capitol Hill following the deadly mass shooting in Gilroy. My exclusive conversation with Congressman TJ Cox in studio.
No, you're never going to say never to something. If the president calls you and asks you to do something, it's tough to say no.
Is Devin Nunes in line to be President Trump's new CIA director? The Valley Congressman also in studio to address that and the president's attacks on Congressman Elijah Cummings. Plus, our panel is set to debate everything from the tax transparency bill to a possible new fight on the governor's hands in the funding over the bullet train. It's all on KC24 Sunday Morning Matters.
Now, from KC24, your local election headquarters, with your host, Alexan Balakian. This is Sunday Morning Matters.
And good Sunday morning to you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alexan Balakian. Join the conversation at Real Alexan. Use the hashtag Sunday Morning Matters. We begin with the city known for its garlic now being thrust into the middle of the heated political debate over gun control.
I have no problem with the Second Amendment. You have a right to bear arms, but not weapons of mass destruction.
A visibly emotional and angry Governor Gavin Newsom following the deadly mass shooting a week ago at the Garlic Festival in Gilroy. 3 people, 2 of them kids, were killed during this attack. Another dozen injured. Authorities say 19-year-old Santino Ligon bought an assault rifle legally in Nevada and used to carry out this evil act. There's still no clear-cut motive as to why he went on this shooting rampage. President Trump also addressing the shooting at the White House on Monday.
We reaffirm our national will to answer violence with the courage, determination, and resolve of one American family.
Let's welcome back to the show Valley Congressman and the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes. How are you?
It's nice to see you.
You're back a little bit from that break there in Washington. And unfortunately, we're going to start off by talking about something that I wish we didn't have to talk about, the mass shooting in Gilroy. Governor Newsom coming out and saying President Trump and the GOP leaders have done nothing to stop this kind of act. They are talking about how California has stricter gun laws, but the nation doesn't. How is this resonating, you think, in Washington and with President Trump and yourself?
Well, the Democrats have long wanted to take people's guns away. So the only option is if you take their view of things, all guns get confiscated. Okay, and then the problem with it is that then only the criminals end up with the ability to bring force to the table. So the gun laws that are in place now are sufficient, in my opinion. We need to make sure that they're enforced. And I haven't seen all the details yet as to the motives and the guns that were used in this killing.
It was an automatic rifle in which he bought it in Nevada legally. And it was an automatic magazine,
which is illegal.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the challenge, right?
Or he probably, what I understand is he bought it legally, but then he somehow modified it.
Right. So it's an illegal gun. So so it's not okay to have automatic weapons in this country. It's the law. So, and those need to be enforced. And I think when politicians look to do this, I mean, why, you're blaming Republicans. I mean, come on, the Democrats control this state. If they want to go confiscate all the guns, I mean, they've done a pretty good job at trying to do it.
Newsom wants the rest of the nation to adopt what California is doing.
Yeah, and I would say that, and there's no way that's going to happen because I think other states are smart enough to know that when you get one party rule, you get a party that's becoming socialist like the Democrats are. It's a slippery slope to where you look like Russia and many other countries that are dictatorships.
Well, let me ask you this, because you have daughters. I have a 6-year-old son. The 6-year-old Stefan Romero, who was one of the 3 killed here, he was in a bounce house when he was shot at the Garlic Festival. What do you say to their families and all the families who are directly impacted by these mass shootings?
Well, look, there's violence every day, and so what you have in this country, and there's too much violence, and a lot of the violence is occurring. There's a whole host of reasons, but a lot of times it's drug violence, gang violence. We had the same situation happen here. I think last time I came on your show, where we had somebody who was here in the country illegally, who came and shot up Tulare and Fresno County. So, what I say to people like that is, that we have these tragedies all the time. And the key is making sure that you're locking people up, that you're not letting people get illegal firearms, and that when people are in this country illegally, they get booted out. And so I laugh ironically at Newsom, who's complaining about blaming Trump for this. Well, I didn't blame Newsom for his sanctuary city and sanctuary state policies, that we have people that have been kicked out of this country numerous times and come and shoot up Tulare and Fresno County. So I think the politicians should lower the rhetoric and try to solve problems, and it doesn't look like that's what they're doing in this case.
I do want to move into this direction where the president has now picked a new intel chief, John Ratcliffe. How true is it that the president actually offered you the job first?
Well, it's total fake news. All you have to look at. So, I like to do live interviews like we're doing here, but I don't talk largely to the print media. I mean, unless it's just to give them a statement. So if you don't see a statement from me in an article that I give officially, it means it's fake news and they didn't talk to me, and they have no information. So there's no question that the president would trust for me, as the top Republican in the House on intelligence, he would ask me for recommendations. And John Ratcliffe is a very talented guy. He's been looked at for a number of positions, and I'm excited about him being the Director of National Intelligence.
Well, there's also been a report that if President Trump is reelected, that you may be in line for an intel job like CIA director.
Yeah, so once again, I'll say the same thing. If you don't see an official quote from me, it's fake news.
You're not interested in something like that at all?
Well, look, you never know. You're never going to say never to something. If the president calls you and asks you to do something, it's tough to say no. But what I would say is that the people who are reporting that are known Russia hoaxers. They've attacked me and wrote fake stories about me for the better part of 2.5 years. And the only reason they're writing stories like this is to start rumors somehow that I'm not running for re-election, or just to ignite people attacking me.
Well, you are running for re-election, 2020 right around the corner, and you've been running a lot more ads leading up to this race than you did against Andrew Jans. Will you do debates? We haven't really heard, except for private events that you do, we haven't seen you really do any town halls, or you haven't gotten out in front of the voters. Will we see more of that this time? Phil Arbaio has been attacking you because of that. And did the race against Jans has you thinking differently this time about how you approach it?
No, I mean, we'll run it just like we've always run it. This is a safe Republican district. There's no question that every left-winger in America doesn't like me because we exposed the Russia hoax. And so, there'll be millions of dollars that'll be poured in against me because it's me, and it's because of the work that we did to expose
but would you like
the Russia hoax.
Would you like to debate guys like Phil Arbaio?
It'll just depend on what that'll be down to polling. And look, there's there's a three-way race here that's going on the Democratic side. And so, we'll see who gets out of the primary, see what they're saying. But as always, we'll make the decisions based on, what's best for my constituency, the people who I represent in the Valley.
What do you say, real quick? I got about 30 seconds. What do you say to those who say you're not out in front of the voters?
I'm out in the voters all day long, every day. I live here in the Valley. I think what you're seeing local news media outlets that have continued to perpetuate that myth. But people in the Valley know that I'm around and available. And really, we're by doing the podcast that we're doing every week, I mean, we're more accessible now than we've ever been, getting information out to the voters directly.
All right,
and we're actually spending advertising dollars to get that message out so that people know how to hear directly from me. And we have numerous constituents now that want us to come out on location and talk about issues that matter to them.
All right, time for a quick break, but the congressman nice enough to stick around. And when we do come back, his thoughts on the new state law taking aim at President Trump and the president's attacks on one of the most respected lawmakers on the Hill, Elijah Cummings.